Wednesday afternoon to you, friends and family. I'm Tyler Fulghum. She is Erin Dolan. That means for the next 30 minutes, we got Bet rocking and rolling here on multiple digital platforms. Of course, the one we encourage you to visit, not just for Bet, but for all of our gambling and wagering advice, picks, plays, and analysis. YouTube.com/ESPN Sports Betting is where you can find it. ED, we are inching another day closer to the kickoff of Super Bowl 56. You ready to rock and roll, sister?
Yes.
I'm ready. I got the pen out right here. I know you're ready, and I know you're smarter than me. This is your best game. It's the good word. You get to flex that intellectual prowess of yours, dig deep into Webster's dictionary and the thesauruses, and I'm going to read a statement. You come with a word.
Well, I have to be careful with that.
Well, you have to be careful because
it's a long word sometimes, Tyler. You've struggled. You've struggled a little.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yes, you have to kind of dumb it down for me, not for the audience, but dumb it down for me because I'm the one who holds the big iPad here and I have to spell it. So do me a favor, sis, and make sure 3, 4 letters, maybe 5 max. That's about my spelling prowess here. All right, let's get a kick started. The good word, Super Bowl 56. Check this out, Erin. The Rams score first, but the Bengals come back to win the game. If you would like to play this prop, plus 550 on the payout, your good word is?
Value. That's an easy one for you. Just 5 letters there.
I got it. Five letters.
In terms of this prop, you got that one? This does have great value in it. Now, we know that the Rams, they are a first-half team. They're usually scoring first. And this kind of all comes down to who wins the coin toss as well. So these types of props kind of do freak me out in terms of the Super Bowl because it really does depend on, the coin toss and whatnot. But I do think that what we've seen so far in the postseason, the Rams, they seem to score first. They lack in that second half, whereas I don't know what the Bengals are hearing from their coach, Zach Taylor, in the locker room to come out in the third and be slinging. And they could potentially come back and win the games like they have in the last 3 postseason games in that second half. So there is honestly a lot of value in terms of betting this market.
All right. I don't like your word because my word is disheartening. Now, you know why it's disheartening. Uh-oh, I'm running out of space here. Squeezed it in. I'm a Rams fan. And so if the Rams jump out to a lead, and then Burrow and the Bengals come back and win this game, I'll be crying, sobbing on the floor right before I have to do ESPN radio for 4 hours for the Super Bowl postgame show. So I'll be no good on the radio. I'm supposed to host for 4 hours. I'll be sobbing while trying to do so with Gerard Cherry and Max Stark. So, yeah, it'd be disheartening if this bet cashes. I don't care if it's value or not. If it happens, I don't want to see. I would rather, you tell me as a sports fan, Erin, does it hurt more when your team has a lead and loses a game, or does it hurt the same or more if your team just downright gets beat from start to finish? I think it hurts more if at some point your team is on its way to a victory and it's snatched away. So this would be extra disheartening if the Rams score first and Cincinnati wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Eagles fan, so we're usually not up anymore, so I'm not really concerned about that. But in your case, you absolutely should be concerned. And honestly, the fact that you're doing a 4-hour post-game show, you better hope that the Rams win.
Yeah, and I better hope I don't have to do a BAC test before that show there because I will be watching the Super Bowl and probably trying to calm the nerves while the Rams are winning that game, or trying to win that game, I should say. All right, let's stick with the Super Bowl 56 theme. Another prop, this one with another juicy payout of plus 750. There will be no turnovers in Sunday's game. No turnovers for both the Bengals and the Rams. What's your good word?
My good word is please, and it's a sassy please. It's more of a, oh, please, as if neither of these teams are going to make it a mistake in this game. I mean, you have the Rams, they've had 5 turnovers already. They had 4 fumbles in that game against the Bucs. As for the Bengals, they've had 2 turnovers already in the postseason, and they've struggled with turnovers the entire season. And their defense is good at forcing those turnovers as well. I do not see this being a situation where either of these teams just has absolutely 0 turnovers. I know this is a Super Bowl. It's, a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters, but in terms of interceptions as well, I mean, Matthew Stafford, he's already had 1, which is against the 49ers, and Joe Burrow has had 2. So there's going to be turnovers at some point in this game.
I like that. I put in parentheses the Chad Ochocinco, child please, voice. I could have spelled it please as well to kind of indicate your sarcasm there as you're thinking, yeah, right. We're not going to see a turnover with these two teams. Stafford, his 18 interceptions this year. Don't forget Burrow, as you said, 16 interceptions this year. It wasn't like he was immune to turnovers as well. So that's why the payout's so big, plus 750, because these quarterbacks have turned over the rock. My word is enticing. And I think it's enticing because of that plus 750 price. I am not as bullish, I guess, as you on the fact that there for certain will be a turnover. I know both quarterbacks have had, well over a dozen interceptions this season, but we've seen Matthew Stafford take better care of the football in the postseason. Jaquiski Tartt dropped interception notwithstanding. Joe Burrow is just so damn cool. That's all we ever hear about the narrative with Joe Burrow. He's not going to throw the rock to the other team. Fumbles can happen, of course, and that's just kind of a random thing. But I'm going to say enticing at plus 750 because these are teams that the narrative around them is they absolutely will turn the ball over. But at plus 750, I'm enticed to maybe dabble a little quarter unit, half unit on this because I can see these two teams playing a clean game, a high-scoring, clean game where both offenses shine. Plus 750, color me enticed. All right. Speaking of Joey Cool, Joey Buckets, Joey Burrow, Joe Shiesty, Aaron, it is plus 170 that Burrow's first pass attempt will be incomplete. You have a good word for me?
Possible, as in this definitely is something that could be possible. We see this at plus 170, so it's not as juiced as the other two that we have talked about. But there are a lot of nerves, there's jitters, and I believe in Joe Burrow, and obviously I think that he has a lot of confidence coming into this game, but at the same time, these two teams, like, you're playing for the Super Bowl. That is in your head whether you want to think it is or not. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams defense kind of shocks the Bengals somewhat. It is going to be the toughest defense that they have faced in a very long time. I know Joe Burrow has been able to slide by, get these wins, and he's beaten teams like the Chiefs twice in the last couple of weeks. But still, the Rams defense is much better, and they're not going to be able to really run the ball as much as they are, so he's going to have to pass the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if that first pass was an incomplete.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett told us anything is possible, including an incomplete pass in an NFL game. My word is going to be unlikely. Now, I say it's unlikely for a few reasons. Joe Burrow, one of the most accurate QBs we have in the NFL. I forgot to look the stat up, okay, mea culpa, but I believe he was first in the NFL in completion percentage. If not first, he was top 5, top 3, something like that. So one of the most accurate passers in the NFL. He also showed us against the Chiefs now an ability to get the ball out quickly. I won't be shocked at all if the first play dialed up for Burrow is something just to get him in the rhythm. Throw a quick out to Joe Mixon in the flat, or a quick slant to Tyler Boyd in the middle of the field. I don't think he's going to drop back and throw a bomb deep down the field on his first pass attempt. I think Zach Taylor's going to try and get him in the rhythm, so I think it's unlikely it's an incomplete pass because I'm expecting that pass to be a short, high percentage pass from Joe Burrow. All right, we have flexed enough intellectual muscle for the two of us here, at least for the one of us here on that side of the screen. Let's bring in some more intellectual horsepower, this time in the National Basketball Association. It is our man, Tim Bontemps, who's joining us now here on Bet. Haven't talked to Timmy B in a minute, so we are glad to have you join us. What we're going to do, Tim, is combine your expertise in the association with, of course, the big game coming up this week. And so in the prop market for the Super Bowl, there's all kinds of crossover prop bets. For you, we're going to read off a few NBA Super Bowl 56 crossover prop bets, and you tell us which way you'd go with those. I got 2, Aaron's got 2. Let me fire the first one at you. Will Rams QB Matt Stafford have more yards on his first completion in the Super Bowl, or will Russell Westbrook have more assists Saturday night against the Warriors? Keep in mind, Russ is getting a half an assist added to his total.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's great to be back. Second of all, anything to not think about the trade deadline for about 10 minutes is awesome. So I appreciate you giving me something else to think about for a few minutes. Now, as far as your question, I like Matt Stafford on this one. We've seen the Russell Westbrook situation go completely downhill in LA. Not exactly a shock. He's questionable to play tonight with back tightness, so we'll see if he's even playing on Sunday. But the way I look at this, Westbrook's had 5 or less assists several times recently. I think Matthew Stafford probably gets a pass close to 10 yards, I would say. So I'm going to go with Stafford and just bet on Westbrook's rough play of late, tipping me in Stafford's direction on Sunday.
And same type of question here, Tim. We have the Atlanta Hawks. Will Trae Young have more points scored on Sunday versus the Celtics, or will the Rams score more points as a team? This is a straight pick 'em.
Well, I'm going to go with the Rams just because I'm going to root for a high-scoring Super Bowl because that's a lot more fun for everybody. Also, the Hawks are playing the Celtics. I'll be at the game, presumably on Sunday in Boston. And with Marcus Smart, one of the best, most physical guard defenders in the league, on Trae Young, it's probably going to be tough for Trae to get a ton of points. Last time they played the Celtics a couple weeks ago, he had 21 points, was 8 for 25 from the field. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a similar line, somewhere in the low 20s for Trae. So let's go for a high-scoring Super Bowl. Let's take the Rams to get that one.
All right, Timmy, this one is a crossover between Joe Burrow and Steph Curry. Will Joe Burrow's longest completion plus a yard and a half be more, or will Steph Curry's box score of points, assists, and rebounds combined on Saturday against the Lakers be more?
This one I really went back and forth on. It was the toughest one, the one you guys talked to me about. I'm going to go, though, with Joe Burrow. Steph's averages across the board, 25, 5, and 6, get up to about 36, 37 per game. He's probably going to be somewhere in that ballpark, I would think. But with the way the Bengals are going and the way Joe Burrow's chucking the ball downfield to Jamar Chase, I'm going to assume he throws a bomb to T. Higgins or Jamar Chase or somebody and gets a 50, 60-yard pass. So I'll go with Burrow, but if Steph goes crazy on the Lakers, given the way they're playing defense, certainly wouldn't surprise me either.
All right, Tim, here is your last one. Anthony Edwards points or Matthew Stafford completions?
I mean, look, you could say that Matthew, whatever the line you put on this, I have to go with my man, Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man. If you guys have not paid any attention to Anthony Edwards, not only is he a highlight factory on the court, he is probably the single best quote in the NBA off the court. He says crazy stuff every single time he's in a press conference. And they're playing the Indiana Pacers, who have traded away a bunch of players and are probably going to keep trading away players between now and the deadline. I have no idea who's going to be attempting to guard him on Saturday night, or Sunday, but it's probably not going to go very well for them. So I'm going to say that Edwards goes for 35 or 40 in that game, and I'll take him over Stafford completions.
Yeah, wouldn't be shocking. I think we just saw the Hawks run up about $150 on the Indiana Pacers last night. So that defense is struggling, and Ant-Man is definitely fun to watch. Fun to listen to, and a crossover edition association in Super Bowl 56. Our man Tim Bontemps. Tim, we appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the big game on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Like the blue blazer Tim was rocking there. That was a sharp, vibrant color. All right.
I know. I feel like all our guests have pretty good style.
Ben Baby's still at the top of the list with his blazer game. I can't wait to see what he has leading up to Super Bowl 56 on the family of ESPN networks. But Timmy B bringing the heat there with that nice, vibrant royal blue. All right, it's just the two of us again here, Erin, and we'll stay in the association while Tim had us on the topic because we do have a nice busy slate tonight on Wednesday in the NBA. So let's run through a trio of games and give our favorite picks. We'll start with this one in the Eastern Conference. The Bulls and the Hornets. Now, this game has a massive total of 236.5. I think it opened around 231, jumped up 5 points. The Bulls, a slight road favorite because Charlotte is riding a 5-game losing streak. We got a 7:30 Eastern tip right here on ESPN. Should be a good one. What's your favorite way to attack this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, the spread in terms of that, it keeps coming down in favor of the Hornets, which I don't like. We know the Hornets have not been great. They've lost 5 straight. As for the Bulls, they have a depleted backcourt. No Lonzo Ball, no Alex Caruso, and that's definitely hurt them. So I'm going to look at a player prop in this one because you talked about that very high total. And again, it continues to be bet up. We haven't seen this drop at all. But I'm going to go Nikola Vucevic over 34.5 points and rebounds. Now, he's only averaging 18 points and 12 boards, so this is a little higher than what he's averaging right now. But again, he's going against a Hornets squad that's not going to have Gordon Hayward. So who's really going to shut him down? The floor is going to be open. And on top of that, I mean, you have players like DeMar DeRozan, who are absolutely incredible players, and I'm sure he's going to be scoring a lot of points. But I just think, considering he carried a majority of the weight last game, you kind of see those star players start spreading the ball around a little bit more, leaning on each other. So I do think Nikola Vucevic will go over his points and rebounds, 34.5.
I got to admit, Erin, I was looking at that very same prop because when I was doing my research, the research led me to the massive advantage that Vucevic is going to have in the interior. Plus, we have a high total, 236. This game is expected to be faster, expected to be a lot of points. We know Vuce is a big piece of that Chicago Bulls offense, especially with some of the guys they're missing. And centers specifically absolutely dominate against this Hornets team. So I, like you, am expecting a big game from Vuce. You mentioned another name, though, and I'm expecting a big game from DeMar DeRozan as well. His points, assist, rebound prop, one of our favorites, par, is 41.5. I'm going to go over that for DeMar DeRozan for these reasons. Massive total of 236.5. We know the Hornets are a good matchup for production. They play very fast, second in the NBA in pace, and they don't play much defense. They're 24th in the NBA in defensive rating. And DeMar DeRozan is just on fire right now. His last 11 games, check this out, Erin. He's averaging 32.8 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 6.2 assists. That adds up to 45 points, assists, and rebounds over his last 11 games. So he's been balling. He gets more usage with Ball, Caruso, and Dosunmu, who is out tonight off the court. So I expect him to have a big box score and was expected to be a high-scoring, fun, and entertaining game on ESPN. This one should also be entertaining as well, Erin, although we're going to be missing some of the principal parts for the Golden State Warriors. No Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green, a few other bodies out, but Steph Curry will be on the floor tonight in the back end of the doubleheader on the road in Utah against Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz. The Jazz missing, of course, Rudy Gobert. We know Joe Ingles is out for the season. Jazz a slight home favorite of 2 points, total of 225. What say you?
This line is so short that I'm just going to take Warriors money line in this situation. I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't flipped to minus money on the Warriors just in general. I mean, the Jazz, they really started off terribly in January. They were riddled with injury. Donovan Mitchell, he's been back. He's been great for the team. They've won 3 straight games. But again, they're going against the Warriors, who are basically a title contender at this point, or still a title contender, I should say. I know that we're not going to have Rudy Gobert in this game. The last time these two teams met, he did have 20 points. But at the same time, Klay Thompson's also not going to play. And he was not in the first game, of course, when these two originally played and the Warriors blew them out. So I kind of feel like I'm a little surprised why we're at this spot and why the Jazz are even favored in this matchup. I think the Warriors are, a pretty solid team. They've won 9 straight games. I mean, I feel like they're not going to drop this one against the Utah Jazz on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the player prop market in this matchup, but on the Jazz side, Erin, I like Donovan Mitchell to go over his point prop of 25.5. Since coming back from a concussion, he has scored 27 and 32 points in the 2 games he's played. But what makes me have even more confidence, other than the fact that he's cleared this threshold in both games, he's only played 58 minutes in those 2 games. So he's 59 points in 58 minutes. That is literally a point per minute in this game where the Jazz are 2-point favorites. The market is expecting it to be a tight, close game throughout. I expect Mitchell to play 36 to 37 minutes, his normal allotment. And if that is the case, he should fly by this because without Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, and maybe Rudy Gay, who is questionable for tonight, off the floor, this dude has averaged this year 31 points per 36 minutes played. And you say, well, the Warriors have a great defense. What about that? That's true. But Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Andre Iguodala are all out tonight for the Warriors. So those are 3 of maybe their best defensive players who might not be on the floor. It's a nationally televised game as well, and we know Donnie Boy rises to the occasion when the eyes are there. Look what he's done in the postseason. So that's why I think no matter what, he's in for a big day. The matchup's made easier by the bodies out, and right now he's just hooping big time with Rudy Gobert missing, and they need him because the Jazz have not been that good as of late. So I'm expecting a big game from him tonight, matched up against Steph Curry. Finally,
I like it.
The Lakers on the back end of a back-to-back, leaving LA where they got smoked by the Bucks last night, going a little bit north up to Portland to take on the Trailblazers team that who knows who's going to be out there with all the wheeling and dealing the Blazers have done. They just traded away C.J. McCollum. Of course, before that it was Norm Powell and Robert Covington to the other team in LA. Lakers, a big favorite despite what we saw last night They're laying 9.5 in Portland, a total of 223.5. We heard Tim Bontemps say Russell Westbrook might not be available as he is dealing with a back injury, and we know he's struggled as of late. So how are you approaching this 10 Eastern tip?
I mean, I absolutely do not trust the Lakers, no matter who they are playing, especially in terms of the spread. So I'm staying away from them altogether. I'm going to take Portland Trailblazers team total. It's at 106.5. I'm going to take the under on this. They've gone under this number in 4 of the last 5 games. Like you mentioned, CJ McCollum, he will not be playing in this game. He was traded to the Pelicans. He was averaging 21 points for this team. Now, Portland is just struggling all around. They've lost 6 straight games. I mean, Dame, I feel like, has to be sitting on the sidelines so frustrated that this is the team and they're just trading everybody away around him. I wish the Sixers would get him and trade Ben Simmons over that way instead of trying to trade him in the East. But nonetheless, I do like the under for this. As for the Lakers, just one quick nugget that maybe people can ride off of. The Lakers are 0-4 against the spread in the last 4 games in terms of that first half spread. So maybe if you're feeling like Portland has some type of shot in the first half because the Lakers will be tired, you could also play that as well. But I do think that Portland's team total 106.5 under is a safe play for this game.
I like you fading the Portland offense because no Dame, no CJ, traded away Norman Powell is a big-time scorer. I mean, they have Nurkic, but his game is not really scoring. The real only scorer they have left now is Anthony Simons, and all of the Lakers are not a great defensive team. They can put LeBron, Talen Horton-Tucker, and, of course, Anthony Davis in the paint and play some good defense. So I like fading the Blazers offense at this point in time while they wait for reinforcements, and this roster and rotation is so stripped down. I'm going to go to one of your favorite props that you've been playing a lot to some pretty good success with the Lakers, and that's Malik Monk over 15.5 points. We have now seen him kind of take the baton as the number 3 option over Russell Westbrook for this Laker team. We just mentioned how the Blazers, they weren't good defensively to begin with this season. They've got a stripped-down rotation, should make life easier for Monk, who's picked up his scoring production over his last 7 games, Aaron. He's averaging 20.4 points per game, 3 straight contests, including last night where he's gone over 20 points. Lakers have a really high team total of 116.5, so the market is expecting them to score points. And again, Portland's just not a good team. They've never been a good defensive team this year. I expect, and if Russell Westbrook is out for this game, then fire, because you're not going to get it at this number. It's going to go up 2 or 3 points if Russ has to leave. So Malik Monk over 15.5, stealing from you again, Aaron, like I did with my best bet yesterday on Daily Wager. The Grizzlies first half.
Yeah, that cashed.
They won.
Yours did too, though. During 15, the game, you had a Grizzlies bet that cashed.
I appreciate your help there. Let's get some more help. We did it with Tim Bontemps in the NBA. Let's do it now on the ice with our guy, the Puck Daddy, Greg Wyshynski, joining us. I like the colorful shirt you got there. Is that a Scooby-Doo shirt, or what is that?
Masters of the Universe,
Scooby-Doo.
I couldn't see. I thought it was like the bad guy from Scooby-Doo, but I see now Masters of the Universe. It's colorful. The jacket looks good. Puck Daddy, always colorful. Great follow at Wyshynski on Twitter. Okay, we did it with Tim Bontemps. We're going to do it with you. Crossover Super Bowl prop bets, NFL and NHL on the ice. Let's start with this father of pucks. Which number will be bigger? Odell Beckham Jr.'s longest reception in the Super Bowl, or the total number of goals scored in the NHL on Sunday? There are 4 contests on Sunday on the ice.
Now, math isn't my strong suit, but I averaged it out. The average total regulation score in the NHL amongst the teams on Sunday in those games, 24.1 goals. The average longest pass reception for Odell Beckham Jr. with the Rams this season, 24.
Oh my gosh, he left us hanging at the most inopportune time. I love the
I'm just going to say that
he
freeze
did
frame
there.
like this is perfect.
He just finished the 24 point. I'm curious, was it going to be more? Was it going to be less?
That's a cliffhanger.
Technology, gosh, gaskets. We're going to try and get Greg Wyshynski back, because now, that was just like, I almost thought he did that on purpose, because he said of the 4 games and the 8
like the
teams,
perfect
24.1 goals, and then for Odell, his longest reception with the Rams has been 24 points. So we'll try and get him back. While we wait, one more item of business we can tend to, Aaron, is Sucker Bet, which I'm not sure you have done yet here on Bet. So we have props.
I have not.
Check out the size of these lollipop, or Tootsie Pops, I should say. Are you a Tootsie Pop fan?
I was not really a lollipop Tootsie Pop. I didn't like what's in the middle of those? What is that?
Oh, it's got the Tootsie Roll. The chocolate Tootsie Roll.
Oh, wait, it's a Tootsie Roll. Yeah, no, it always freaks me out, the Tootsie Rolls.
I get it.
I don't know why.
I get it. All right, so the purpose of this game, I know, I did not. I'm not a big lollipop guy. If it's just a regular sucker, whether it's a blow pop or a Tootsie Pop, I don't like things in the middle of my sucker.
Unless you go to, like, the dentist when you're walking out, which is terrible. They have these sometimes.
Those are good.
Dum-Dums, the little tiny ones. Those are good, especially the blue ones, blueberry.
And it's ironic because you just got your teeth clean and they're giving you all that sugar. All right, here's what a sucker bet segment is all about, Erin. You give a bet that seems on the surface like, yeah, everyone's going to take this side. But you know in your heart of hearts that only suckers are taking that side. So what is your sucker bet for Super Bowl 56?
Well, now that I feel like you've explained more so what a sucker bet is to me, I feel like this one might be a little but I do think the Rams first half -3. Now, you know, all I've been harping on during the playoffs has been the first half, first quarters, and whatnot, but I kind of feel like this is a sucker bet because everybody's expecting the Rams to start out hot and the Bengals to catch up. That's basically all we have to go off of because the last 3 games, that's exactly what the Rams have done, and the last 3 games, it's exactly what the Bengals have done. I think the Bengals are going to just stay within reach of this Rams squad. They cannot do what the Bucs did. They went down by so much and tried to come back in that second half and weren't able to because Matthew Stafford threw a 44-yard pass to Cooper Kupp. We can't be having those situations. So I do think that the game might actually be a little bit tighter in that first half than we expect. Now, I had the Rams cover that first half spread against the 49ers last week, and they absolutely dropped the ball. And I wasn't able to cash in on this, so I'm a little bitter from that. But I also do think that some of these more prominent markets might be kind of a sucker bet in ways because it's kind of just, we've only can base it off the last 3 games in the postseason. And this is going to be a one-off game, and the Bengals need to stay in it the entire game if they want to win.
All right, my sucker bet is Matthew Stafford over 280.5 passing yards. Stafford's averaged 300 in the postseason. When we think of the Rams, we think of their prolific passing attack. But don't be surprised if Sean McVay leans on Cam Akers and Sony Michel and the Rams running game. That's what I'm expecting them to do against the Cincinnati defense that likes to drop 7 and 8 into coverage. And I think McVay has learned from some of his errors in previous Super Bowls and previous losses that he is going to take what the defense gives and only ask Stafford to win on third and reasonable situations. So I expect a lot of running from the Rams. That's why I think the over is a sucker bet. I think Stafford for this game is going to be asked to do a little less than we have seen. All right. Hopefully technology has picked back up because he's no sucker. Greg Wyshynski back with us, the Puck Daddy. And I'm telling you, Puck Daddy, your frame freezed at the most opportune time to tease us when we were asking OBJ longest reception or total game scored or total goals scored. You said 24.1 is the average for those 8 teams in those 4 games on the ice, and then you froze when you said OBJ's longest reception average was
24.3, but when you factor in overtime in these games, that was just the regulation total goals for those NHL teams. I think you got to go with the goals prop.
All right, there it is. Finally an answer on that one. Erin, what you got for him?
All right, will there be more made field goals or more goals in the Capitals game this Sunday?
All right, so Capitals average 3.17 goals per game. Ottawa gives up around 3.23 goals per game. Get 4 field goals in the Super Bowl, you got this prop on the NFL side, so I'll go field goals over Capitals goals in this one.
All right, this one may be a little tough to digest, Puck Daddy. Will there be more Rams players to make a reception, so just the unique number of Rams players with a catch from Matthew Stafford, or total goals in Sunday's Stars Avalanche fireworks sesh on the ice?
Well, I just got done binging Yellow Jackets, so tough to digest as a relative statement. Avs Stars, total goals between those teams on average is 6.34, okay? The Rams in their 3 playoff games averaging 6 different receivers. So by a little bit, I will take the Avs and Stars goals over the number of Rams receivers.
All right, and lastly, Joe Burrow, more rush attempts than the Sabres goals on Sunday. Right now we're seeing Burrow's over-under is currently at 2.5.
All right, so rush attempts, Burrow, 14 of 19 games. He's had 3 or fewer rushing attempts. The trick here is that Montreal just fired their coach. That's who Buffalo's playing on Sunday. That makes me a little bit nervous as to what kind of Canadiens team will be. But in back-to-back games this season, Montreal has given up 4.14 goals per game. So based on this math, I will say Sabres goals over Joe Burrow rush attempts.
The master of the frozen universe. And apparently this guy graduated from MIT because he was ripping all kinds of numbers, all kinds of math done by the Puck Daddy, Greg Wyshynski there, as we cross over on the ice in for Super Bowl 56. Puck Daddy, appreciate you dropping by. Enjoy the NHL this weekend and, of course, the big game on Sunday.
You got it.
Always fun when the Puck Daddy drops by, and always fun to rip through another bet with you. She is Erin Dolan. Hope you enjoyed it.
Fun.
We got one more coming up this weekend on Friday before we get to the big game, so it should be a lot of fun. Want to thank Tim Bontemps. Want to thank Greg Wyshynski for joining us. That'll do it for this Wednesday edition of Bet. We'll see everyone yet again here on Friday.